Welcome to Shredder Fanfic. Like, subscribe, and hype video. Join members to gain early access to new videos.
After the main character dies inside of his previous life, he wakes up inside of Naruto as Naruto Uzumaki, and he starts with the Rinnegan. What is Naruto with the Rinnegan gonna do inside of Naruto?
This generation of Indra would have drowned, and all of Itachi's plans would have become a joke. To protect his younger brother. How can you protect your younger brother if he's gone? Itachi would probably go insane. So, in the end, he decided to activate the infinite Tsukuyomi to create a world where his younger brother exists. Sasuke hesitated for a few seconds, then proceeded to explain. After saying that, he turned his face away and said, "Laugh if you want. It was my stupidity that led to this, and I deserve to drown." Can I really laugh? Naruto seemed to be suppressing a laugh. Sasuke nonchalantly agreed, but inwardly he was quite disappointed. So this is what the blonde-haired kid is really like. Am I about to laugh? Laugh. Am I really going to laugh? Stop asking, just laugh. Am I really going to laugh? Aren't you annoying? If you want to laugh, just laugh. Why do you keep asking me why? Sasuke suddenly turned around, looking like he was about to hit someone, but saw that Naruto's face was serious, without the slightest hint of a smile. Chapter 38. What do you mean by that? I believe that people who work hard at anything should not be ridiculed, so. Naruto retorted seriously, "What's so funny? You keep making me laugh. Isn't it you who's always trying to laugh? How did it become, I want to make you laugh? How boring." Sasuke snorted coldly, not wanting to pay any more attention to the blonde-haired guy, and started to leave. Naruto reached out to stop him. "Wait, are you just going to leave like this? Putting aside the debt of saving my life, what about the fact that you spied on my training? So what do you want? So what do you have?" Sasuke thought seriously for a moment, then shook his head. "I don't have much to give you. The most valuable thing I have is my life, but I can't give it to you right now. I have to kill that man. If I survive after killing that man, I can give you my life." Upon hearing this, Minato, inside the sealed space, paused. That man? Does he mean Itachi? They're brothers. How could things have come to this? Kushina felt sorrow for Mikoto. Outside, Naruto almost laughed in anger when he heard Sasuke's words. "Although I don't really want your repayment, is it okay for you to be so blatantly shameless?" Sasuke also felt it was bad, but what could he do? He stubbornly refused to speak, saying, "It's the price anyway, take it or leave it." Shamelessness knows no bounds. Naruto sighed helplessly. "You win. I'll give up my life, but I have only one condition. You have to be my sparring partner." "How about it? You agree to be a sparring partner?" After careful consideration, Sasuke felt that being a sparring partner would be very beneficial to him and could also improve his strength. It's more accurate to call it a reward than a condition. "Why are you looking for me?" Sasuke asked warily. "There's no such thing as a free lunch, unless there's something bigger going on." Naruto replied matter-of-factly, "Because I need a punching bag with enough weight. Although you are weak, you are the most weighty punching bag after me." Sasuke felt deeply humiliated, but he put aside his worries and said coldly, "I agree." The two chatted for a while and agreed on a training time. Just as they were about to go home to change their clothes, Naruto's expression changed slightly, and he said to Sasuke, "You go first. I have something urgent to attend to." After saying that, Naruto sat down cross-legged on the spot and entered the sealed space. The next second, the shadow appeared. Naruto asked with concern, "Why did you contact me so urgently? Is something wrong?" Ying shook her head and said, "It wasn't me who got into trouble, it was someone else. 2 minutes later, Naruto opened his eyes and saw Sasuke's figure. "Why haven't you left yet?" Seeing Naruto's disgusted expression, Sasuke gritted his teeth and said, "What's the emergency?" "I'll help you. The debt of gratitude for saving my life is too heavy. I will repay it however little I can. Your immediate departure would be the best help you can give me." Sasuke ignored him. He was determined to help out today. "Tisk, fine. Whatever you see later, don't say anything. Pretend you didn't see anything. Keep it a secret for me. If you don't keep it a secret, I'll beat you until you do." After saying that, Naruto walked to a nearby tree and knocked on it, forcing out 6 ANBU ninjas. The ANBU member said impatiently, "Kid, what exactly do you want to do?" "It's nothing. I just wanted to ask you all to look me in the eye." As he spoke, Naruto opened his Rinnegan and used the genjutsu he obtained from Izumi Uchiha's head, instantly hypnotizing the 6 people. "Continue with your mission." After dismissing the Ambu, Naruto stretched his hand towards the 1 o'clock position and used the universal pull technique. The next moment, a white Zetsu shot out from the ground and flew into his hand with a bewildered look on its face. "You've been spying on me for 2 months, and you're still not satisfied. In that case, you're not leaving. Who exactly are you?" Click. Asura Path, mechanical armor. The mechanical arm snapped White Zetsu's neck, causing White Zetsu's neck to tilt to the side, and he died. Sasuke approached, and upon seeing this, felt a chill run down his spine. He swallowed back the question he was about to ask, determined never to reveal what he had witnessed that day. Naruto glanced at Sasuke, then ignored him and proceeded to use the Divine Emperor's spirit and the Yukamatama to revive White Zetsu. "Continue with your task." White Zetsu obeyed the order, his body sinking and disappearing into the earth. Then Naruto used the shadow clone technique and said to the shadow clone, "Just in case, you stay here to deal with the 3rd Hokage's inspection and—" He turned to look at Sasuke. Sasuke felt insulted, and his face flushed red. "I'd rather die than tell anyone." "That would be perfect." After a few seconds of thought, Naruto transforms into Gilgamesh. Not long after, he was summoned away and disappeared from the spot. Let's rewind to 5 minutes ago. Land of Earth. In the desolate wilderness where rocks stand tall, a figure dressed in a purple kimono strolled through the landscape, when suddenly she heard the sound of weapons clashing in the distance. Another pointless ninja fight. Utterly boring. Ying had no intention of investigating the unknown battle. She slightly quickened her pace and continued on her way. Since parting ways with Naruto more than 2 months ago, Kage has encountered far too many bloody incidents. On average, they occur every few days, sometimes even several times a day. Seeing a shadow and being overcome by lust, killing to relieve stress in a bad mood, silencing witnesses while on a mission, killing ninjas from rival villages on first encounter. In short, all sorts of ridiculous reasons eventually turned into ubiquitous fighting, which is really annoying. In comparison, Teyvat in Shadow's memory could almost be called paradise. Although there are conflicts, the overall situation is peaceful, and conflicts between people are not as frequent as in the ninja world. "It's me, Dean. It's Kabuto. Don't you recognize me? It's Kabuto." A pitiful, desperate cry rang out, and Ying paused, her brows furrowing slightly. Chinese letter. She had heard of this name before. Naruto had marked her as a big bad guy to watch out for, and Kabuto was one of them. "Is it him?" A murderous glint flashed in Ying Mei's eyes. A warrior should forge ahead without hesitation, rather than constantly having to be wary of villains Slaying them with a single blow is more in line with her character. Aye, who are you? The blonde female ninja lay on the ground with a large hole in her waist, blood flowing uncontrollably. Severely injured and on the verge of death, beyond any hope of recovery. She coughed up blood, looking at the white-haired boy who was treating her with a puzzled expression. Do we know each other? Aren't we enemies? Then why are you healing me? The white-haired boy stood motionless, half kneeling on the ground, already lost in despair. Why doesn't the Dean remember me at all? Why is that? If even the Dean doesn't remember me, then what am I? Chapter 39. Are you the master? Why is that? If even the Dean doesn't remember me, then what am I now? What did I get from the director? My name was given to me by the director. My adoption by the orphanage was also thanks to the director. Even these glasses I have now are hers. So, who am I? Tab, tab, tab. The sound of footsteps rang out. The figure strode forward, holding a long samurai sword to the white-haired boy's neck, and said indifferently, Are you Kabuto? If so, just say something, or I'll kill you. Kabuto looked up, his face blank, and murmured, Kabuto. Was that me? If it was me, then why doesn't the headmaster recognize me? Who am I? What is the real me? I feel like I can't see the real me anymore. Stop talking nonsense. Just answer yes or no. Shadow was a little displeased. He applied a little more force with his hand, and the blade cut through his skin, leaving a wound on Doo's neck. Who is it? Who am I? Sir, do you know who I am? Can you tell me? Seeing that Kabuto was acting like a madman, Ying put down his knife. She disdained to kill those who were powerless to resist. Aye, what's wrong with that woman? Why hasn't she left yet? Hidden in the shadows, Orochimaru looked at the figure sitting cross-legged on the spot, feeling extremely displeased. He had been eyeing Du for several years, always wanting to recruit this promising young man as his subordinate. Danzo's series of cunning maneuvers had brought him to the brink of success. All that was left was for him to step in and persuade. No, to step in and extricate Kabuto, so that he could take Kabuto into his possession. The woman, dressed in luxurious clothes, with stunning beauty and a cold and aloof demeanor, appeared. She appears to be a noble lady, but Orochimaru's years of experience and honed intuition tell him otherwise. Danger. Extreme danger. That feeling. Orochimaru had only ever experienced it with pain before. Naturally, Orochimaru became interested in the cage. However, having learned his lesson, he did not rush to take action, but secretly memorized Ying's appearance to investigate in the future. The most important thing now is to bring Du under my command. And so, why hasn't that woman left yet? Orochimaru was secretly anxious. Time is limited. If we don't take advantage of Kabuto's momentary lapse in concentration, it will be much harder to completely subdue him later. Aye. Having ended his contact with Naruto, Cage stood up, looked at Kabuto lying motionless on the ground like a corpse, and said calmly, I have a way to revive your foster mother. Kabuto hadn't reacted yet, because what plunged him into despair wasn't the Dean's death, but the Dean's inability to remember him. If even the Dean has forgotten him, what meaning does his life have? Cage didn't try to persuade her further. She wasn't the type to give advice, and it was already quite kind of her to say even one word. She left the rest to Naruto to handle. 2 minutes after the agreed time, Shadow used the reverse summoning technique. The next second, an arrogant voice rang out. So you're my master, you son of a bitch. Jin Shanshan wearing a large gold chain around his neck, made his entrance. Inside the sealed space, Kushina and Minato were stunned. His mother, Lao Tzu, is that their son who's swearing so much? The couple said they could not accept it. Naruto, what are you doing? Kushina roared, making Naruto's head ache. Mom, I'm just putting on a persona. Can you please stop? Cannot. Then don't blame me for being ruthless. Kurama, please mute this for me. No problem, Naruto. Soon the parents' voices disappeared. Naruto sighed inwardly. Indeed, normal families are not only filled with warmth, but also with arguments. He could already foresee that he would have to call out to his mother nicely to coax Kushina back home that night. So you're my master, you son of a bitch. Naruto repeated his lines to the stunned Cage. Ying snapped out of her daze, thinking that Naruto actually liked this kind of thing. He really was a pervert. She said solemnly, "That's right, I am your master." Hey. Naruto tilted his head. You want to be my master? Ying sensed something was wrong and probed. Didn't you admit it yourself? Master is an English word that means owner or employer. So in a sense, Ying wasn't wrong. Naruto looked at Cage, remained silent for a moment, and then asked, You accept it just because I acknowledge it? Ying felt a little wronged. Isn't this the kind of style you like? If you like it, I'll go along with it. How can you blame me for that? Naruto fell silent again. He really couldn't understand why he had become a masochist in the eyes of the shadows. Sir, do you really have a way to revive the Dean? Kabuto's arrival broke the silence. He got up, knelt before Cage while holding Nono's body, and begged for help to revive the Dean. Kabuto wants to ask the Dean in person why he forgot him, and then commit suicide to leave this world full of despair. I will not be resurrected, but he will be. The shadow is pointing to Kabuto, and the real person is Naruto. Sir, please save the director. I'm willing to pay any price. Kabuto kowtowed heavily to Naruto, leaving a trail of blood on the ground. That's exactly what I've been waiting for. Naruto laughed arrogantly, his words filled with contempt. I possess the wealth of the world. My treasury is overflowing with treasures. Boy, tell me, what do you have that would make me take action? He prostrated himself on the ground. My king, all I can give you is my life. King, what the hell is this? What's that kid yelling about? But it doesn't matter, as long as the goal is achieved. Your life is cheap. It's not worth keeping for me. Du's face immediately darkened. But considering your sincere desire to save your foster mother, I will accept your life. Aye. Who exactly is that man? How come he's another powerful figure I've never heard of before? Does he really have the ability to resurrect the dead? Is he here for Kabuto too? Hidden in the shadows, Orochimaru, whose plan had been thwarted, wore a somber expression, his mind a jumble of thoughts. The Rinnegan possesses two resurrection abilities. One type can be resurrected directly regardless of any conditions. The heretical art of reincarnation and rebirth. The other type is the Hell Realm, reincarnation of Yama, the king of hell. However, this technique requires certain conditions to be met, such as the deceased having died recently, the soul not yet having entered the Pure Land, and both the body and soul being present in order to resurrect the deceased. Nono perfectly fits the above criteria. She had only been dead for a few minutes when her soul left her body and began to float upwards. So, that child was Kabuto. Looking at the white-haired boy kneeling on the ground, Nono finally recognized his identity, and regret filled her eyes. Chapter 40, Resurrection. What a pity. I didn't even get to have a proper conversation with Kabuto before I died. What exactly is this person plotting? Why did they deceive Kabuto and claim they had the ability to revive me? Nonu turned her gaze to Naruto, feeling utterly disgusted. As a medical ninja, she knew that there was no way to revive the dead in the ninja world. This guy in front of me, he actually used her as a tool to deceive and control Kabuto. He's just as despicable a bastard as Danzo. Come over. Naruto revealed his Rinnegan, gave a command, and beckoned to her. Nono was stunned. Is it calling me? Probably not, since no one should be able to see me in my current state. Thinking this, Nono found her soul uncontrollably flying toward Naruto. The Hell Realm, rebirth of Yama, the King of Hell. The King of Hell was summoned, opened his mouth wide, and extended a long, golden tongue with hands, which put Nono's corpse and soul into the King of Hell's mouth and chewed them incessantly. A few minutes later, Yama opened his mouth wide and spat out the pale-faced Nono. Dane. He helped Nono up, felt her beating pulse, and was overjoyed. The hospital director has come back to life. However, the thought that the dean didn't remember him made Doo's face instantly darken. Life is ultimately meaningless. You are, Kabuto. Nonu opened her eyes, and Kabuto's face came into view. She excitedly hugged Kabuto tightly. Even more excited than Nono was Kabuto. The dean remembered him. Orochimaru was even more excited than Kabuto, because he had actually been resurrected. This is astonishing. First, a new Rinnegan, then the ability to revive the dead. These gains are completely beyond my expectations. Even if they didn't get the helium, this move was still worthwhile. Orochimaru has been researching immortality, and resurrection is an important, even crucial, topic in the pursuit of immortality. Unfortunately, he has yet to find a perfect resurrection technique, to the point that he once doubted that a perfect resurrection technique existed in the ninja world. Now it seems the answer lies in the eyes of reincarnation. I need to know more about the Rinnegan now. Suppressing his excitement, Orochimaru hid himself even more deeply, glancing at Naruto discreetly and without leaving a trace, so as not to be detected by the Rinnegan. However, in front of Naruto, who possesses the Nine Tails' ability to sense good and evil, Orochimaru's concealment was as conspicuous as a firefly in the dark. You stinky snake. Haven't you stared enough? Naruto suddenly turned his head and used his Rinnegan to unleash the Naraku sight technique, causing Orochimaru's body to stiffen. The guiding force of all things. Orochimaru's body flew out from behind the rock pillar uncontrollably. Seeing this, Nono was startled and quickly dodged to the side. Ying's eyes darkened slightly. She hadn't even noticed anyone hiding nearby. You're too slow. The general mentally accused the shadow. Ying nodded in agreement. Indeed, we were too slow to react. General, what does this have to do with me? You're shifting the blame onto me again. You're the one in charge of your body. We've been discovered. Breaking free from the illusion, Orochimaru instantly realized his predicament. Instead of retreating, he advanced, stretching his neck like putty, and opened his mouth to bite Naruto. Shinra Tensei. Bang! Orochimaru's body was struck by the repulsive force, his internal organs shattered. He coughed up blood and crashed heavily onto the rock pillar, becoming a corpse. You bastard, I admit you disgust me. Naruto seemed even angrier, his body leaping into the air, looking down at Orochimaru from above. Ahem, Wang. Is that your name or a code name? A brand new Orochimaru emerged from the corpse's mouth, licked his lips, and looked curious. The dead don't need to know that much. The guiding force of all things. The rock pillars on the nearby ground broke off and floated into the sky, surrounding Naruto. Then he swung his arm down, and all the rock pillars smashed towards Orochimaru. Boom, boom, boom. The earth trembled violently, and billowing dust blotted out the sun, making it impossible to see what was happening inside. After a while, the smoke and dust dissipated, revealing a small hill made of piled-up broken rock pillars. Orochimaru emerged unharmed from a crevice in the hill and scoffed. How barbaric! Not a single skill is used. That move would be a fatal blow against ninja forces, but for someone as skilled in earth-style techniques as him, it was just a matter of consuming some chakra. Is that so? Then I'll give you something more skillful. Naruto, who had only been training in ninjutsu for a month, certainly didn't have very high ninjutsu skills. But he has the Rinnegan. The Rinnegan's eye technique can give life to inanimate objects, and these objects, once given life, completely obey Naruto's commands. Then Naruto had a sudden inspiration. Could chakra be given life? The answer is yes. The grassland, where the Nine-Tails chakra transforms within the sealed space, is proof of this. However, because each person's chakra contains a unique personal will, this personal will must be expelled before the chakra will completely obey Naruto's commands. However, chakra is the foundation of a ninja's existence, and handing over one's chakra to someone else to use. Normal people wouldn't do it, nor are they capable of doing it. But there are two exceptions. One is the Nine-Tails, and the other is Naruto himself. By using one's own chakra to bestow life through the power of the Divine Emperor's spirit. This is the hardware. Then he used the Yukamatama technique to imbue his chakra with a soul, which contained Naruto's methods, insights, and experiences in performing ninjutsu. This was software. With both hardware and software in place, Naruto only needs to think, which is like pressing a switch, and all the ninjutsu he knows will be used automatically without hand seals. Yes, that's right. It has to be a ninjutsu that Naruto has already mastered to be automated. Even if you have a ninjutsu scroll, it's useless if you haven't mastered the ninjutsu. After all, if you don't know, you don't know. What's the use of just knowing the answer, but not the result? So Naruto still needs to study hard. It's not time to slack off yet. Let's get back to the main topic. Faced with Orochimaru's taunts, Naruto's chakra rapidly drained away with a thought. Fire release, great fireball technique. Automation is many times greater than human power. In ninjutsu, this translates to hundreds of fireballs appearing in an instant, and the number continues to increase. Before long, countless fireballs appeared in the sky and fell to the earth. The air was hot and dry, the temperature rose rapidly, and light and heat shone brightly. What level of ninjutsu is this? Seeing the apocalyptic scene that resembled the sun falling, Orochimaru's pupils constricted. Without thinking, he immediately used water release, water wall formation. Sizzle. The water evaporated from the wall and disappeared as water vapor. Use earth escape technique, earth flow wall. The rock wall was scorched, cracks spread, and eventually exploded. Orochimaru, his face grim as his body emitted the aroma of roasted meat from the flames, moved his hands rapidly. Haisuyu Shenwei. Slap your palm on the ground. Spirit summoning technique, triple Rashomon. Chapter 41, following. Spirit summoning technique, triple Rashomon. Ramble. The three enormous gates that rose from the ground finally withstood the endless fireballs. I have to go. After Rashomon, Orochimaru pondered for a moment and immediately decided to retreat. We definitely can't win in a fight, and staying behind is just waiting to die. My body can't take it anymore. Feeling the stinging pain coming from his meridian system, Naruto realized that the water flow was too strong and the pipes were about to burst. However, it wasn't a big problem. The life energy stored in the Rinnegan entered his body, and all the discomfort disappeared immediately. These triple Rashomon gates can't stop me. Naruto turned his gaze to the massive portal ahead and stretched out his hand, unleashing Shinra Tensei 3 times. Boom! 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 A tremendous sound shook the heavens and the earth. Rashomon shattered and vanished into fragments, revealing Orochimaru's figure before Naruto. Fire release, great fireball technique. Fireballs rained down from all directions, and Orochimaru let out a painful scream before quickly turning into ashes. Ying walked over, looking puzzled, and asked, "Big bad guys, are they all this easy to die?" Orochimaru is also a villain, whom Naruto marked as a cage to be wary of. He's not dead. Look closely, this is just a pile of dirt. The real Orochimaru. With his eyes closed, and using Kurama's powerful ability to sense good and evil, Naruto quickly located Orochimaru's position. At the 10 o'clock position, 2 kilometers away. If we set off to chase after them now, it's not too late. However, after hesitating for a few seconds, Naruto gave up the pursuit. Given Orochimaru's near-mortal survival abilities, it's highly likely that even if he catches up, it will be useless and a complete waste of time. That's how it is. Because of Danzo's persecution, we are unable to return to Konoha. Please take us in, sir. Having died once, the mark of the severing of tongue calamity on Nono's tongue has disappeared. She recounted what had happened to her, revealing one scandal after another about Danzo, and then, pulling Kabuto along, knelt before Naruto, begging him to take her in. In fact, with her intelligence, she naturally knew that Naruto intended to recruit her and Kabuto, and faced with the recruitment of a strong person who could defeat Orochimaru, she and Kabuto had no right to refuse. Since the outcome is predetermined, it's better to take the initiative to surrender and leave a good impression on the leader. Naruto did not agree immediately, but instead diverted part of his consciousness into the sealed space. What are your thoughts after hearing this, Dad? After spending a long time together, Naruto can now naturally call out Mom and Dad. Seeing his eldest son's obvious schadenfreude, Minato felt a headache coming on. The incident involving Nono and Kabuto had already happened, so there was no point in him having any feelings about it. Fortunately, it didn't turn into a tragedy in the end. The important thing now is to educate our son, who is going further and further astray. There is darkness in Konoha, so Danzo deserves to die. As for the third, Hokage's dereliction of duty, I acknowledge all of that. But Naruto, you can't condemn the entire village just because it has flaws. The village also has its good points. Your teacher Iruka, your classmates Hinata and Sasuke, Aim and Chuji from Ikaraku Ramen, they are all very good people. Minato's long and earnest speech, in essence, boils down to this. If you think Konoha is bad, then work to improve it. If you think the Hokage is bad, then train hard to become the Hokage. If you think the people lack manners, then you can establish schools to educate them like the second Hokage did, instead of thinking about doing things like undermining Konoha, defecting, or establishing a new country, things that are treasonous. The place where you stand is your leaf. As you are, so are the leaf. If you are light, the leaf will not be dark. How long-winded. Naruto yawned boredly, and Kushina grabbed his ear. Listen carefully to what Daddy is saying. Aye. Gently, gently, Mom. I know I'm listening. Naruto feigned pain and cried out. It didn't hurt that much. I knew how to control myself. I was just lying to my mom. Despite saying that, Kushina's grip tightened considerably. However, she still held Naruto's ear, her face hardening as she said, "How are we going to settle the score for you blocking Mom before?" Naruto said seriously, "I think we should listen to what Dad has to say." Minato stopped his long-winded explanation and said with a wry smile, "Fine, you have your own ideas, so I won't say anything more. Saying too much will only annoy you." Goodness, your backstab came just in time. Naruto said seriously, "It's annoying if you don't tell me now. You're not allowed to hate Daddy." Kushina's eyebrows shot up, and she gripped Naruto's ear tightly. "It's falling off, it's falling off. My ear is going to fall off." Naruto roared. There. Outside, Naruto didn't refuse much and nodded, in agreement to take in Nonu and Kabuto. Just as the two were about to express their gratitude, Naruto suddenly said to Kabuto, "Your brain has been tampered with. It seems to be the work of the Sand Village." Nono's expression changed. Kabuto was an orphan she had adopted during the battle between Konoha and Sunagakure. Could it be? Dean, I don't know what happened. Kabuto looked at Nonu in a panic, seemingly worried that Nonu would abandon him. Nonu placed her hands on Kabuto's shoulders, looked at him, and said gently, "I believe in Kabuto. Whoever Kabuto is, he is my child." Dean. Du quieted down and quickly realized what he needed to do next. "Please help me eliminate this hidden danger." "Sure, but you'll have to die first." The technique of manipulating sand with the mind, a secret technique of the red sand scorpion controlling the helmet, can pierce the memory center of a person's brain with extremely small needles, thereby sealing the object's memory. Theoretically speaking, the God Emperor who governs life can dispel the mind control sand technique. However, because living people possess individual consciousness, the God Emperor's spirit cannot control the bodies of anyone other than Naruto himself. To remove the mind control sand technique from Kabuto's head, Kabuto must first die and become a corpse. The human path extracts Kabuto's soul, the God Emperor generates spirits to control Kabuto's body, and the Hell path resurrects Kabuto. The whole process left Kushina and Minato, who were inside the sealed space, completely amazed. Their son was ridiculously powerful. He could even resurrect the dead. Aye. In the distance, Nono soothed her slightly tangled head. Kage glanced at the mother and son, then turned to Naruto, asking in confusion, "Why did you make them follow me?" She felt that she was fine on her own. Nonu is a medical ninja. She can help if you get injured. Naruto's explanation. Kage disagrees. "I won't get hurt, and even if I do, you're still here, aren't you?" The life energy gathered by the Rinnegan is far more effective than medical ninjutsu. Naruto shook his head and said, "But I can't be by your side all the time." Chapter 42, Obsession. "I can't be by your side all the time, so you'd better bring a medical ninja with you. Besides, Nono is an elite ninja of root, with rich experience, which can make up for your lack of experience." Ying pursed her lips and remained silent, which was taken as tacit agreement. Naruto smiled and continued, "As for Kabuto, that guy is a genius. You want to rebuild Inazuma, right? Kabuto can be your right-hand man, helping you achieve twice the result with half the effort. He's loyal." He paused, explaining that the original character, Kabuto, was a classic example of fickleness, having absolutely nothing to do with loyalty. But now, hold on to Nono, and then treat the rest with sincerity. Do everything you can to be kind and righteous. If they still don't listen, then just kill them. After finishing the conversation about Nono and Kabuto. After chatting for a while, Naruto said goodbye. "I can't leave Konoha for too long, I'm worried something might happen. By the way, what are your plans for the future? Continue traveling the ninja world. After pondering for a while, Ying shook his head and said, No, I'll travel the ninja world for now. I need to find someone. Who? Uchiha Itachi. Upon hearing the name, Naruto frowned, scrutinizing the figure for a long time before finally saying, Is it because of this body? Cage nodded, acknowledging Naruto's guess. This body has always harbored a deep obsession. She wants to ask Itachi Uchiha himself why he killed her. Don't you need revenge? How can one tolerate a murderous grudge? No, she just wants answers. Okay, she can tolerate it. All I can say is that they truly are a family obsessed with love. They're incredibly fanatical. Can we just ignore it? Although Itachi has a mental disability, his strength is no joke, and he has one cheat code after another. Cage went to find Itachi. Naruto worried that he might not return. I can ignore her, I can suppress her obsession, but that would prevent me from fully controlling this body. The purple eyes transformed into scarlet Sharingan with 3 Tomo. The shadow said, You gave me a lot of soul energy, but the 3 Tomo can never evolve into the Manjikaiwu Sharingan because I haven't fully mastered my body. Moreover, I can sense that as long as I resolve her obsession, the Manjikaiwu Sharingan will be activated. Now that things have come to this, what else could Naruto say? He could only tell her to be careful and to summon him if she couldn't win. Do you know where to find Itachi Uchiha? Upon hearing this, Ying paused, realizing that she hadn't decided yet. Naruto, do you know him? You can go to the land of rice fields. If you run into Orochimaru, he'll probably help you find Itachi Uchiha. Rain Hidden Village. Akatsuki's secret base. Inside the dark cave, a lamp was lit in the center of a circular platform with a diameter of 5 or 6 meters. Buzzing. Accompanied by several sounds, semi-transparent humanoid phantoms appeared around the circular platform. The first pair is a man and a woman. The man's pair of purple Rinnegan belonged to Pain, the Deva path. The woman had a flower pinned to her head. She was Conan, the only female member of the Akatsuki organization. Conan's gaze swept over the Akatsuki members, and she said calmly, Everyone, Akatsuki has assigned you some tasks. At this stage, Akatsuki's core mission is to lie low and develop, recruiting members to accumulate its own strength and stirring up conflict in the ninja world to weaken the enemy's power. To achieve this goal, Zyro disguised himself as a mysterious and powerful mercenary organization. Accepting commissions, getting paid to do the job, 100% positive feedback. Orochimaru, Kakuzu, you're going to the land of lightning. Your mission is to hunt down Cloud Ninja. The more Cloud Ninja die, the greater the reward. This mission was issued by Onoki, the third Tsuchikage, and a longtime client of Akatsuki, with the aim of weakening the increasingly powerful Cloud Ninja. Coincidentally, Akatsuki also had the idea of weakening the strength of the 5 great ninja villages, so they readily accepted the mission and assigned it to Orochimaru and Kakuzu. Kakuzu happily accepted the mission. He was willing to do anything as long as there was money to be made. Another mission. Orochimaru's vertical pupils flashed with annoyance. If he's doing missions in Konoha and still doing missions after leaving Konoha, then wasn't his defection for nothing? No. I need to find a chance to break away from Zyro. But before leaving Akatsuki, Orochimaru's eyes greedily fell on Itachi. He couldn't wait any longer for this genius-level body. Sensing Orochimaru's greedy gaze, Itachi remained expressionless, though he couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Even Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin, covets the Uchiha's power. How disappointing. Itachi Uchiha, Juzo Biwa, go to Kirigakure and assassinate someone. Upon receiving the mission, Juzo Biwa looked worried. As a rogue ninja from Kirigakure, being discovered in Kirigakure would mean certain death. Oh, are you two going to Kirigakure? Could you take me with you? I promise I'll be obedient. The intern, Afei, wore a mask and danced around, making funny noises. Itachi glanced at it, but ignored it. Peeper Juzo waved his hand listlessly and said, "Ask the leader, asking us is useless." Naturally, Pain rejected Fei's nonsense. Ah Fei was extremely disappointed and squatted on the ground drawing circles. The meeting continued. A few minutes later, the meeting ended and was about to adjourn. Orochimaru chuckled and said, "I have some information I'd like to share with you all. I wonder if you'd be interested." Sasori, who had always been at odds with Orochimaru, said impatiently, "You stinky snake, get to the point and don't waste my time." A stinky snake. This title brought back unpleasant memories for Orochimaru. His expression darkened for a moment, but he quickly regained his composure and smiled. Speaking of which, Sasori, this information is also somewhat related to you. Do you remember Kabuto? Orochimaru, who intended to recruit Kabuto as his subordinate, had already thoroughly investigated Kabuto's background and knew that Kabuto was Sasori's spy planted in Konoha. Scorpion was taken aback, then remembered who Kabuto was and said coldly, "You stinking snake, mind your own business." Orochimaru's smile faded. "I have no interest in your business. I'm just telling you some information. Kabuto defected from Konoha some time ago." Kakuzu said unhappily, "Hey, Orochimaru, the information you're trying to tell us isn't just that Konoha has gained another rogue ninja, is it?" The others also glanced at Orochimaru with barely concealed hostility. "Such a trivial matter, and you're wasting our time. Are you tired of living?" "Of course not. That was just a side note. What I really wanted to say was..." Orochimaru paused, then looked at Pain with a meaningful gaze. "I've discovered a new pair of Rinnegan. There. Hidden Mist Village. Water Shadow Building." The fourth Mizukage, Yagura Karatachi, focused intently on processing the documents. Several hours passed. Yagura looked up, twisted his stiff neck, and saw a ninja dressed as an ANBU member sitting at his desk, deep in thought. Instead of scolding him, he smiled and asked, "Ah Fei, what are you thinking about? Do you need any help?" Chapter 43. "Ah Fei, do you need my help? Get out of my way, don't bother me." Ah Fei waved his hand impatiently, his attitude extremely rude. However, in Yagura's eyes, it was just a joke between good friends. He smiled helplessly, said nothing, and lowered his head to continue processing the documents. This is clearly a very abnormal scenario. Tobai, no, it should be Obito, has already used Genjutsu to control Yagura and become the de facto ruler of Kirigakure. At this moment, Obito was processing the information he had just obtained from Orochimaru. King, Emperor, both have golden Rinnegan, so they must be the same person. That living puppet wasn't made up out of thin air. There really was such a person in the ninja world. Judging from her ability to reverse summon the Rinnegan, she has a very deep relationship with the person who possesses it. Finding her means finding the Rinnegan, so that's where we can start. Moreover, since her puppet appeared next to the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, it means we can also find clues about the Rinnegan from the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. In fact, Obito already knew that the Golden Rinnegan and the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki were connected on the day the Uchiha clan was massacred 3 months ago. However, at that time, there were rebellions breaking out one after another in Kirigakure, and Obito was busy suppressing the rebellions. He had no time to investigate the situation of the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, so he could only send White Zetsu to monitor them. White Zetsu report. The Nine Tails Jinchuriki's name is Uzumaki Naruto. He is almost 8 years old, lives in an apartment in Konoha village, and is unmarried. He attends ninja school, always gets home before 7 p.m. At the latest, doesn't smoke or drink, occasionally skips classes, goes to bed at 8 p.m., and makes sure to get a full 10 hours of sleep. Drink a glass of warm milk before bed, then do 20 minutes of gentle exercises to warm up before going to sleep. In short, the White Zetsu all said that Naruto was perfectly normal. However, Obito felt that the White Zetsu's report was a bit strange, but he didn't think too much about it. After all, the White Zetsu's brain circuits were very peculiar, and he had never seen a normal White Zetsu. However, considering that the Nine Tails Jinchuriki was in Konoha and wouldn't run away, it wouldn't matter if a little time was wasted. The search for Naruto was thus delayed. But it can't be delayed any longer. Originally, due to certain unspeakable selfish reasons, only Obito and Itachi knew about the newly appeared Rinnegan. None of the other members of Akatsuki, including Zetsu, knew about the emergence of the new Rinnegan. But now, thanks to Orochimaru's revelation, Obito, having lost his intelligence advantage, has no choice but to be anxious. Obito pondered, "Let Zetsu waste time searching for that woman, while I go directly to investigate the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. That way, I can find the Rinnegan before Zetsu does." He found the Rinnegan, seized it, became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, broke free from Madara's control, and became the first executor of the Eye of the Moon plan. This was Obito's long-cherished ambition. Da-da-da. Footsteps sounded outside the office. Obito was taken aback, snapping out of his reverie. He quickly jumped off the desk and stood respectfully behind Yagura. "Lord Mizukage." Kirigakure Ao walked into the office and glanced at Obito with a frown. Although Obito reacted quickly, Ao still saw Obito sitting at the desk. "Afei, is he really just an ordinary ANBU member? Why is he so arrogant in front of the Mizukage without being punished?" Ching was very confused. The Mizukage desk is specifically for handling Kirigakure's administrative affairs and has a rather imposing feel. Even the Mizukage himself cannot sit on it. Just a mere secret unit. There's definitely something wrong with him. Thinking back on the various illogical decisions the Water Shadow had made over the years, Ching began to have doubts. He finished reporting the matter without batting an eye, left the Water Shadow building, quietly released the seal on his Byakugan, and glanced behind him. The line of sight passes through the wall. A shadowy figure with disordered chakra flow in the brain, and a dark figure with an unusually bright one-eyed man. How could this be? The Mizukage has been controlled. Suppressing the intense shock within him, Ching quickened his pace and swiftly left the area. Konoha. Rest day. The morning sunlight streamed through the window into the room. Naruto sat at the dining table, eating breakfast while talking to his parents in his mind. "My savings are almost gone. I only have enough for 1 year." As he spoke, Naruto picked up the milk and drank it all in one gulp. He put the cup back on the table, then leaned back in his chair with a troubled look on his face. According to his plan, his savings would last until graduation, but his plan overlooked two important influencing factors. One is the cost of cultivation. Training tools such as kunai, shuriken, and weights all cost money, and the prices are quite expensive. The second issue is the amount of food consumed. I don't know why, but as he got older, his appetite increased. He might not be considered a big eater, but calling him a small eater wouldn't be an exaggeration. The more you eat, the more money you spend. That despicable old man, the third Hokage, is utterly shameless. He even embezzled the inheritance left to me and Minato. Inside the sealed space, Kushina cursed at the third Hokage. Minato looked grim, but he didn't stop his wife's outrageous behavior. Because Minato also wanted to point at the third Hokage's head and yell at him. Did I offend you somehow in the past that you're treating my son like this? I have a money-making plan to go back to my old profession and debut as an idol. Oh wait, I mean, a brand ambassador. To be honest, a lot of bosses have been secretly contacting me. The couple were initially confused, not understanding what Naruto's so-called money-making plan was, but they quickly realized what it meant. It turns out he was sitting in front of someone else's shop to attract attention and generate negative publicity. No, Naruto, you can't demean yourself like that. Kushina and Minato expressed strong opposition. In the eyes of these two people who value their reputation, profiting from others' dislike damages their self-esteem and carries a sense of self-degradation. They wouldn't allow their son to become that kind of person. You're exaggerating. If you just ignore them and treat those troublemakers like they're invisible. Naruto tried to persuade his parents, but they were so opposed that he had to give up and look for another way. Wait, I have another idea. After pretending to think for a few seconds, Naruto clapped his hands and said, I've decided to follow family tradition, marry into the Hyuga clan, and have Hinata support me. The couple were shocked by their son's idea of living off his wife. Marrying into another family. That's so undignified. They might as well debut as spokespeople. What do Mom and Dad think of my idea? Naruto asked, oblivious to the danger. Kushina put her hands on her hips and said angrily, No way. I didn't give birth to you, so you could be someone else's son. Besides, don't you know that marrying into another family will make you look down on, and you'll suffer all sorts of scorn? Minato's mind worked quickly. After a moment's thought about Naruto's personality, he realized that the marriage proposal was probably a joke. Chapter 44, I'll give you half. Having put aside his worries, Minato Namikaze, or sked Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Naruto, when did our family have a tradition of sons-in-law marrying into the family? Naruto immediately said, My surname is Uzumaki, so. Just admit it, Dad. You're the one who married into the family. Minato. Although he didn't care what his son's surname was, since he was still his son no matter what, he felt a little conflicted when his son called him a son-in-law. Minato turned to Kushina, hoping she could help explain. Kushina nodded solemnly, her expression saying, I'm leaving it to you. Then, suppressing a laugh, she said, That's right, Naruto, your father married into the family, you can't be like him. Minato looked resentful. Kushina, give me some face. On the way from home to the forest, Minato suddenly suggested, Since we're short of money, how about we just ask the third Hokage to reclaim the inheritance that Kushina and I have left? Having carried out numerous high-level missions, the couple left behind substantial assets, enough for Naruto to live comfortably until adulthood. Should I just ask? Naruto paused for a moment, then shook his head and said, No, asking directly will expose your existence. It's not a big deal if I'm exposed. It would be better to expose it, so that we can have an open and honest talk with 3 generations. Only. Seeing that Naruto remained unmoved, Minato sighed softly. This child has too deep a prejudice against Konoha. Minato didn't give up and continued to try to persuade Naruto. I think the third Hokage may already know about my existence. After all, your taijutsu has improved so quickly, and your style is very similar to mine. Unless the third Hokage is stupid, he can guess some of the truth. Upon hearing this, Naruto paused, then continued walking, saying calmly, "Not necessarily." Judging from what the third Hokage did, he might just be stupid. A forest. Sasuke is imitating Naruto by chopping down a tree. Due to his physical condition, excessive force could lead to his annihilation, so Sasuke tied a blanket around the tree he was attacking to protect his fist. Good morning. Naruto arrived and greeted Sasuke. As they became more familiar with each other, the two began practicing together a week ago. Sasuke stopped, returned the same greeting, and then continued chopping down the tree. Bang, bang, bang. Naruto then went to a nearby spot to start playing. Bang, bang, bang. The sounds of two different kinds of tree chopping rose and fell, never ceasing. Several hours passed. Sasuke sat down to rest, exhausted, while Naruto, sweat beading on his forehead, continued chopping down the tree. 10 minutes later, Sasuke stood up. I'm rested. Let's begin. PvP training is something the two of them do every day. Naruto stopped chopping down the tree and, without resting, began fighting Sasuke. The two moved swiftly, their figures flashing back and forth. If Iruka were here, he would surely be taken aback. In just a few months, the two of them have acquired the taijutsu skills of a genin. Their rapid improvement in strength is not only due to their own efforts, but also inseparable from Minato's guidance. Yes, Minato also gave guidance to Sasuke through Naruto's words. After more than 60 moves, Naruto took advantage of Sasuke's unpreparedness, kicked Sasuke away, and defeated him. Cough, cough. I lost again. Clutching his aching chest, Sasuke got up from the ground, his eyes filled with resentment. Time and time again, I've played so many times, and I've never won a single time. Am I really a genius? He lost his self-confidence and even doubted whether he was really, as that man said, just a piece of trash. Seeing Sasuke's somewhat dejected state, Naruto said, "Don't compete with me, at least not now. You know how strong my physique is. You can't possibly beat me at this stage. Children of this age have limited chakra and can't use many ninjutsu techniques. Taijutsu is the key factor in determining the outcome of a battle." Facing the enhanced version of Naruto, Sasuke's only way to win is to use a cheat code. But it was Naruto who had the advantage, making Sasuke's chances of victory even slimmer. Sasuke pondered, "Not now. Maybe later. Once I awaken my Sharingan." It seems that's not possible either. Naruto's mysterious eye technique seems to be even stronger than the Sharingan. Looking into Naruto's eyes, Sasuke felt pessimistic about his future. Am I destined to be dominated by that blonde-haired guy for the rest of my life? Do not. No. I absolutely will not agree. The sky cleared, the rain stopped, and Urjuzi lit up again. Ignoring his chest injury, Sasuke ripped off the blanket covering the tree trunk and began to furiously strike the tree with his bare hands. Soon his hands became a bloody mess, a truly gruesome sight. Naruto quickly stopped him. Can you please stop being so stupid? If you want to hurt yourself, go somewhere else. Don't do it in front of me. Sasuke remained silent, turned and left in silence. Where are you going? Go somewhere else. You fucking. Naruto rubbed his forehead, silently asking himself about his parents. Can I just ignore him? Respecting the fate of others and setting aside the urge to help others. These are principles that Naruto always kept in mind. If Urju wants to harm himself, then let him be. However, urged on by Kushina and Minato, Naruto pulled Sasuke back. The Divine Emperor's spirit heals injuries, and the Yukamatama enhances the soul. After experiencing the Rinnegan eye technique package, Sasuke opened his pair of scarlet single tomo, sharing an eyes. His eyes filled with longing as he looked at Naruto. 2 words, I want it. Naruto turned his head away, looking disgusted, and said, "Don't look at me like that. There's no such thing as a free lunch. I can help you train, but what can you give me in return?" Sasuke pondered for a moment, then said bluntly, "Whatever I have, I can give you." Naruto rolled his eyes. "That sounds generous, but you have nothing." "Wait, I'm short of money." "Do you have any?" "I have." Sasuke was full of confidence. There. In the desolate Uchiha clan territory, Sasuke searched through all his family's wealth before finally managing to scrape together 500,000 ryo. This little bit. Naruto didn't believe it. Now, the entire Uchiha clan's wealth has fallen into Sasuke's hands. 500,000. You're kidding me. You're not going to be stingy with the money, are you? Naruto looked suspicious. Sasuke blushed, feeling humiliated. He was willing to risk his life to kill that man, so how could he be stingy with money? Most of the Uchiha clan's wealth is being held by the village and won't be returned to me until I graduate. This 500,000 yen is all the money I have. So you were also embezzled by the village. Naruto immediately understood. It's impossible for the Uchiha to repay their money. In the original story, they never did. After their defection, they even confiscated all of the Uchiha's land, leaving them with nothing. Sakura paying off a mortgage in Boruto is clear proof of this. I can't come up with more money right now, but I can compensate you in other ways. To improve his strength, Sasuke went all out. He gritted his teeth and said, "What do you think of this Uchiha clan territory? Nobody lives here anyway. I can have it all." He paused, then remembered his desire to revitalize the Uchiha clan and changed his words, saying, "I can give you half of the clan's land." Chapter 45. I want them all. What do you think of this Uchiha clan territory? I can have it all. No, I can give you half of the territory. My name is on the property certificate. Naruto said with a strange expression, "No need. I don't want your clan's land. Give me 200,000 taels of silver, cooperate with me in an experiment, and then I can consider helping you train." Uchiha clan. Sasuke's house. Inside the living room, Sasuke placed his hands on Naruto's shoulders and continuously channeled chakra into Naruto's body. A few minutes later, Sasuke ran out of chakra, lowered his hands, and looked at Naruto, who was deep in thought with his eyes closed. This guy is getting weirder and weirder. I inexplicably found myself transferring chakra, and I had no idea what the purpose was. This shouldn't be happening. My eye power hasn't changed at all. What happened to the saying that Indra plus Ashura is roughly equivalent to the Rinnegan? Even after Sasuke's chakra within him had completely dissipated, Naruto's Rinnegan remained unchanged. He opened his eyes, frowned in deep thought, and after a long while looked up at Sasuke. "This time, it's my turn to transfer chakra to you." 10 minutes later. "Why? Can your chakra increase my eye power?" Sasuke touched his eyes, his expression filled with deep confusion. The growth of eye power is not like that. Isn't eye power usually cultivated slowly or increased naturally over time? Why can it be increased by receiving other people's chakra? I can't bear to learn this. Naruto didn't explain but said, "Let's go to the kitchen." Aye. It took Naruto half an hour to convince his parents to reluctantly stop opposing his morbid curiosity. Under Sasuke's slightly terrified gaze, Naruto pinched his nose and drank half a bowl of blood that had flowed from Sasuke's cut wrist. After waiting for a long time, Naruto finally sensed the change in his eye power. My pupil power has increased slightly. Very few, almost negligible, but that doesn't matter. It's significant. This means that Naruto's thinking is correct. He can upgrade his Rinnegan by collecting Indra's chakra or through other methods. 3 Tomo Jade, 6 Tomo Jade, or even 9 Tomo Jade are no longer just a dream. You shall also drink a bowl of my blood. Naruto painfully cut his wrist, filled a bowl with blood, and then handed it to Sasuke to drink. I won't drink it. I'm not a pervert. Why would I drink human blood? Sasuke shook his head repeatedly and retreated step by step, his resistance obvious. I'm not a pervert. Naruto, his face dark, shoved the bowl into Sasuke's hands and said, if you want to increase your strength to get revenge, then drink this. Of course, if you don't want to, then just pretend I didn't say anything. Sasuke naturally wanted revenge, but only by drinking blood. Sasuke hesitated. Like the chakra transfer before, can it increase eye power? It might even help you unlock the double Tomo. Even Naruto himself didn't believe that. He'd only recently unlocked the single Tomo. How could that be? Holy crap. This can't be right. You actually opened it. Naruto stared wide-eyed at the 2 Tomo in Sasuke's right eye, thinking that the effect was too remarkable, almost worlds apart from his own. He became increasingly certain of his conjecture. His own Ashura chakra was activated to a certain extent, so both his own chakra and blood could have an effect on Sasuke. Sasuke's Indra chakra is hidden within his body, so Sasuke's chakra is useless to him, but Sasuke's blood is useful to him. Does this mean I have to drink Sasuke's blood every day? No. This is disgusting. I'd rather not upgrade my Rinnegan. We have no choice but to find another way. Ask the Sage of 6 Paths for a cheat code, ask the tailed beasts for chakra, or help Sasuke improve his sharing and increase the development of Indra's chakra. Looking at himself in the mirror with a single Tomo on his left and 2 Tomo on his right, Sasuke, whose mind had been tense ever since the destruction of his clan, showed a relaxed smile for the first time. He clearly felt that his dream could come true, rather than the last shred of stubbornness in the face of despair. Uchiha Itachi, I will soon gain power equal to yours. No power surpassing yours, and then I will kill you. Suppressing the murderous intent boiling within him, Sasuke turned to Naruto and made a request. Blood, chakra, soul energy. Sasuke wanted all of these things that could enhance his strength. Naruto only gave chakra and soul energy, refusing to give blood, saying it was too disgusting. After struggling until evening, Sasuke still hadn't managed to transform his double Tomo into a complete form. The two agreed to continue later. In the following days, Naruto gave Sasuke whatever he wanted, even going so far as to give him several bowls of his own blood, all so that Sasuke could quickly activate Indra's power and benefit him. Unfortunately, pulling up seedlings cannot help them grow. The evolution of the Sharingan requires intense mental stimulation. Naruto's blood, chakra, and soul energy can only act as a catalyst and reduce the difficulty, but cannot completely replace it. Are you trying to provoke Sasuke on purpose? Under Kushina's gentle reprimand, Naruto abandoned his impulsive idea. Then Naruto said to Sasuke, let's pause the experiment. From now on, I won't give you my blood. I'll give you chakra once a day, and my soul energy and life energy once a week. In exchange, you'll also give me chakra once a day. Is that all right? No. Sasuke nodded in agreement, knowing full well that he was the one who would benefit. On a dark and windy night, people are killing people and setting fires. Konoha village under the cover of night. The spatial vortex twisted, and Obito emerged from it, appearing outside an ordinary apartment building. Tell me about the recent situation of the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. A white Zetsu emerged from the ground and replied, "As usual, the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki spends his time either at school or training with Uchiha Sasuke. The Jinchuriki is actually training with the Uchiha clan. It seems Itachi's efforts haven't been in vain. His younger brother has already gained Konoha's recognition." With a mocking laugh, Obito asked, "Didn't you notice anything unusual? Any unusual behavior or unusual people?" Baiju replied decisively, "No." Waste. Obito waved for White Zetsu to get lost, then looked up at the apartment building, a red light flashing in his eyes before disappearing from sight. Aye. In the dimly lit bedroom, the little boy lay on the bed, fast asleep, clearly in a deep sleep and unlikely to wake up easily. The spatial vortex twisted, and Obito appeared at the edge of the bed, looking at Naruto with neither joy nor sorrow, and drew the katana from his waist. Swish! A cold glint flashed, and Naruto's neck was cruelly severed. Not good. The moment Obito struck Naruto's neck, he sensed something was wrong and quickly unleashed Kamui to get into position. But it's too slow. A Rinnegan blasted into Obito's back. Boom! His body was pierced, the floor was shattered, and the loud noise echoed in all directions, breaking the tranquility of the night. Enemy attack. Chapter 46, 4th Generation. Enemy attack. Protect the Jinchuriki. The two secret agents waiting outside shouted and quickly broke through the window. They were stunned by the scene inside the bedroom. In the messy bedroom, Naruto stood with a solemn expression, exuding the composure of an adult as he cautiously surveyed his surroundings. Noticing the arrival of the Ambu, Naruto said seriously, "Leave. Go find the third Hokage as soon as possible and tell him that a powerful enemy has his eye on Naruto." This means, the ANBU member asked in a low voice, "You are not the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Who are you, and why have you taken over the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki's body?" You are the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, right?" Obito appeared at the bedroom door, his robe tattered, with a hole torn in his right chest, revealing pale muscle tissue, but without a trace of blood, which was strangely inexplicable. Yondaime-sama. The eyes of the members of the Dark Division were filled with disbelief. "You should leave now." After giving the order, Minato didn't pay any more attention, focusing all his attention on Obito and glancing at his injuries. "Madara, you really are a monster." Obito laughed dismissively. "There's nothing wrong with being a monster. You live a long life. Unlike you. So what if you're the famous Yellow Flash? You still died before you even got to see your son properly after he was born. Now you only have a wisp of chakra left. Once your chakra runs out, you'll disappear completely. But before I disappear, I'll take you with me." With a golden Nine-Tails chakra cloak draped over his body, Minato used his shuriken shadow clone technique to instantly appear beside Obito and engage in a fierce battle with him. The Jinchuriki has been attacked. Upon receiving the news, the third Hokage rushed to the scene and was stunned at first glance. That is, under the deep night sky, the clanging of metal and the thuds of flesh clashing echoed continuously. Golden light flashed nearby, and a scarlet eye followed closely behind. Both sides moved at extremely high speeds, and the Konoha ninjas on the sidelines couldn't get a chance to intervene. Hokage-sama, the fourth Hokage, is using a Jinchuriki's body to fight an enemy. The enemy's name is Madara. The ANBU member in charge of guarding Naruto quickly explained the whole story. Looking closely at the golden light and shadow, the third Hokage saw that beneath the golden chakra cloak was a mature-looking, youthful-faced Naruto. Naruto's figure flickered, appearing out of thin air and disappearing just as suddenly. The ability to do this is undoubtedly due to the flying thunder god technique. Minato, it really is you. You've been the one teaching Naruto all this time. Why didn't you come to see me? Yes, old man, I've failed your trust. You're blaming me. A heart full of complex emotions ultimately turned into a sigh. The third generation stopped thinking, rallied his spirits, leaped into the air, and plunged his staff into the battlefield. Madara, Konoha is not a place for you to act recklessly. Boom! Obito, who was locked in combat with Minato, didn't have time to become intangible and was sent flying by a blow, crashing through several buildings before finally stopping. Most people would be crippled or killed if they suffered such severe injuries, but Minato knew that the enemy was not human. He didn't reminisce with the third Hokage, but relentlessly pursued Obito until he was right in front of him. He unleashed a Rinnegan, leaving a crater in the ground. Obito, who was lying on the ground, had become intangible. He looked up at Minato, looking disheveled but speaking arrogantly. Trash. Useless. You can't protect your students, you can't protect your wife, and you won't be able to protect your son and Konoha in the future. Unless you kill me today, I will definitely kill your son and destroy your village in the future. Minato Namikaze, just you wait, ha 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 ha. The maniacal laughter and threatening remarks made the surrounding Konoha ninjas feel extremely uncomfortable. This guy actually wants to destroy Konoha. We must kill him today. While their killing intent surged, the Konoha ninjas were also quite puzzled. Who is the fourth generation's son? Wait, the fourth Hokage had a son. Who was he? Why have they never heard of him? Some astute ninjas turned their gazes toward the fourth Hokage's possessed body, their pupils involuntarily contracting. Is it? Minato paused for a moment, then said, You seem to harbor a deep hatred for me. Can you tell me why? Because you deserve to die. You couldn't even protect Lin, so why do you have a happy family? I want you to experience the feeling of losing the most important person in your life, just like me. Obito's face, beneath the swirling mask, was ferocious and terrifying. Ban, you're utterly depraved. With me here, your goal will not succeed. The third Hokage, his killing intent palpable, walked up to Obito with his golden cudgel in hand and struck him down, creating a crater in the ground through Obito's ethereal body. Obito was completely unharmed and gave him a disdainful look. Old man, who are you? In his mind, only Minato was worthy of his attention. Others, even the third Hokage, were not worth his concern. The third Hokage's face darkened. Minato spoke up, reminding him, Third Hokage, the enemy is immune to physical attacks. Ordinary ninjutsu is ineffective against him. Is there a solution, Watergate? There should be a time limit. Am I right, Madara? Tilda. Do you think I'd be stupid enough to admit it? Although he wouldn't admit it verbally, his actions betrayed him when it came to his own safety. Obito stood up unhurriedly, leisurely dusted himself off, and then strode through the encirclement of Konoha ninjas, seemingly intending to leave. Damn it, running away right in front of us. This is blatant disrespect for Konoha. The Konoha ninjas were enraged and launched their attacks. Kunai, shuriken, explosive tags, fire release, wind release, lightning release. A barrage of attacks, using various ninja tools and techniques, rained down on Obito. Boom, boom, boom. Fire and wind spread, thunder roared, and explosions occurred one after another. After a long while, the attack ended, and the ninjas prepared to stop and observe the results. Bang, bang, bang. One fireball after another tore through the air, relentlessly bombarding Obito. Gentlemen, I am the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Please follow my orders. Minato, feigning the formation of hand seals to unleash a powerful fireball, commanded, all ninjas, divide into 5 teams and take turns attacking. Each team must attack with all their might for 1 minute without stopping. Hold on, victory will be ours. The ninja all shouted in unison, yes. Fourth Hokage. The powerful voice resounded in all directions, and some sentimental ninjas couldn't help but shed tears. This was their fourth Hokage. Back then, under the leadership of the fourth Hokage, Konoha achieved victory after victory, defeating one powerful enemy after another, and was invincible on the battlefield. So what if the 4 great ninja villages joined forces? So what if it's Kumagakure? They're all defeated by Konoha. Those were Konoha's glorious years. Everyone, including their enemies, believed that Konoha would prosper and reach new heights under the leadership of the fourth Hokage. Chapter 47, Exposure. However, Konoha's glorious days have passed, but at that time everyone, including its enemies, believed that Konoha would prosper and reach new heights under the leadership of the fourth Hokage. It's just a pity that the Nine-Tails rampage destroyed everything. Aye, if only you were still alive. Watching the Konoha ninja united under Minato's leadership, fighting the enemy with one heart and one mind, a hint of regret flashed in the third Hokage's eyes. If Minato were still alive, he could retire peacefully and enjoy his old age, instead of being stuck in the position of Hokage like this now, making more mistakes and becoming disliked. If he continues, he might even ruin his reputation in his later years. Yes, that's right. The third generation still has self-awareness and knows that he has made many mistakes. Allowing Orochimaru to betray the village, the death of Hisashi Hyuga, the rumors about Naruto, condoning Danzo's persecution of the village's ninjas, the massacre of the Uchiha clan. These things were known to 3 generations as wrong, and they all wanted to change them, but none of them did, and they even became accomplices. What is the reason? As people age, their energy and spirit decline, and their abilities, or, to put it another way, they lose their drive and courage. Aye, teacher. As Kakashi ran, he approached the battlefield and heard the ninjas shouting, "Fourth Hokage." He paused for a moment, then sped up and soon saw a short, golden figure directing the ninjas in battle. Who are you? Minato turned around and saw the ANBU uniform, silver hair, one eye, and a distinctively dejected aura. Kakashi, long time no see, you've grown taller, Minato said with a gentle smile. You're really a teacher. Kakashi stared wide-eyed at the child in front of him, seemingly incredulous. However, the other person's demeanor and tone do resemble a teacher. Could it really be a teacher? Kakashi hesitated. This child. Naruto, my son, Kakashi, don't you recognize him? Minato looked at Kakashi with a meaningful gaze. I'm sorry. Kakashi lowered his head in shame. I'm sorry, teacher. I failed to take good care of Naruto and let you down. Since the Nine-Tails attack, Kakashi has been trapped in a state of torment, devoting all his time to busy ANBU missions to numb his wounded soul. As for Naruto, subconsciously, Kakashi didn't want to see Naruto. Not only did he not want to see him, he even deliberately avoided hearing news about Naruto. Hearing news about Naruto reminds me of my teacher and his wife. The two were once happily in love, but now their souls have returned to the underworld. Then the pain begins. After waiting for a long time, Kakashi did not receive the blame he expected, but only heard a sigh. Kakashi, I used to blame you a little. Minato patted Kakashi's. I wanted to pat his shoulder, but because of the height difference, I ended up patting his waist instead. Patting Kakashi's lower back, Minato said. But seeing you like this now, I feel that you're the one who really needs to be taken care of. Kakashi, the dead can't be brought back to life. Don't keep dwelling on the past. Seize the present. You need to pull yourself together. I believe Rin and Obito don't want to see you continue to be so depressed. It's time for you to move on. Come out. Kakashi was taken aback, then shook his head with a wry smile. It was easier said than done. Aye. Boom, boom, boom. After a 5-minute break in the attack, the smoke and dust gradually dissipated, revealing a large, charred crater in the spot, with a mangled corpse lying inside. The forbidden Uchiha technique, Izanagi, can turn events that happen to you within a certain period of time into reality. Dad, be careful. Inside the sealed space, Naruto, using the Rinnegan as a pretext, recklessly revealed information he shouldn't have known. Yes, I understand. Minato nodded slightly, then reminded the Konoha ninja, everyone be careful, the enemy might still be alive. Still alive. How is that possible? The body was rotten into several pieces. Looking at the charred corpse in the pit, the Konoha ninjas were filled with suspicion. Had the fourth Hokage made a mistake? Due to the prestige of the fourth generation, no one raised any questions, and many people even obediently became more vigilant. They believed that the fourth generation's judgment would not be wrong. And Minato did not betray their trust. Before long, the corpses in the scorched pit vanished like a dream, and the black-robed man with the swirling mask appeared on a rooftop not far away. As expected of you, Yellow Flash. The dark clouds dispersed, revealing the bright, clear moon. Under the bright moon, Obito stared at Minato with his scarlet eyes and said indifferently, "Even if you win tonight, I will come back to challenge you another day. I hope you will still be there then." After saying that, Obito glanced at Kakashi, snorted coldly, and prepared to use Kamui to leave. But a voice suddenly rang out from behind. "Stay here, Madara. I might not be around another day, so why don't you come down with me today?" During the Nine-Tails rampage, Minato had left the flying thunder god mark on Obito's back. He used this opportunity to catch Obito off guard. Tailed Beast Rasengan. A giant Rasengan infused with Tailed Beast Chakra slammed into Obito's back. Boom! Blood splattered, a large hole was torn in his body, and he was thrown out, falling from the roof to the ground. Knowing that the enemy was incredibly resilient, Minato didn't stop for a second. He used the Flying Thunder God technique to catch up, and then smashed a Rasengan at Obito's head. Danger! Obito was still in a daze and hadn't reacted yet, but under the pressure of death, his body was forced to shift a few inches. Clang! Maruko brushed past Obito's face, knocking the vortex mask away and leaving a bloody mark on Obito's face. Obito! Minato stopped, staring wide-eyed at Ban, who had revealed his true form. How could it be you? That. Silly, careless, helpful, and dreaming of becoming Hokage, Obito. Why did it become Madara, who directed the Nine-Tails rampage, killed him and Kushina, killed countless villagers, and even tried to kill his son? Oh, we've been exposed. Well, there's nothing we can do about it then. Obito had already become hollow-feet. He stood up, opened his arms, and his eyes were filled with madness. Why can't it be me, Minato Namikaze? The one who killed you and your wife is none other than me, Obito Uchiha. That loser whom everyone looked down on, the one who killed the infamous Yellow Flash. Nobody could have imagined it, right? Aye. Inside the sealed space, Naruto looked at his mother, who had been silent since Obito revealed his true form, and cautiously asked, "Mom, what's wrong? Is it because of Obito, Uchiha?" "Obito, he wasn't like this before," Kushina said with mixed emotions. "He, like Kakashi, was your father's student back then." She began to recount the past. Obito was the student she worried about the most among Minato's 3 students, and also the one she liked the most. She always treated Obito like a younger brother, and she was heartbroken for a long time when Obito sacrificed himself. When she was pregnant, she hoped that her child would have the same personality and qualities as Obito. Chapter 48, I Will Be Resurrected. Mom, are you sure you want me to become him?" Naruto looked outwards. Despite being surrounded, Obito remained fearless and angrily berated Kakashi and Minato. One bite of trash, one bite of waste. Like people from Zuan. Kushina glared at Naruto. "Don't you dare imitate that. I'm talking about Obito from before, not like this now." "Oh, I won't learn it." Naruto nodded in agreement, then asked curiously, "If I don't grow up the way Mom expected, will she be disappointed?" "What are you saying?" Kushina grabbed Naruto's ear, her face showing displeasure, and said, "Listen carefully, Naruto, you are my son. No matter what you grow up to be, I will always love you, unconditionally. Do you understand?" "I understand." "Aye. At the end of words lies a sword, and at the end of a sword lies blood." Minato and Kakashi's attempts to persuade him were to no avail. All they received in return was Obito's mockery and insults. Then there's no other way but to take action. Minato intends to repeat his old tricks and prepares to launch another 5 rounds of attacks. Did you think I'd fall in the same place twice? Obito gave a cold laugh, withdrew from the intangibility, and endured several ninjutsu and ninja tool attacks with his body, which aggravated his injuries. He then formed hand seals to perform ninjutsu. Wood release, sea of trees descends. Ramble. Many trees quickly grew from the ground, forming a small forest in an instant, enveloping the Konoha ninjas around them. It's wood release. How is this possible? How could an Uchiha know wood release? The Konoha ninja now understood the shock Minato had felt earlier. It's completely incomprehensible and utterly absurd. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would never have believed it, no matter what. Wood release is to Konoha what Kaleidoscope is to the Uchiha clan. It is not only powerful, but also has great symbolic significance, belonging to the orthodox status. For a rogue Uchiha ninja to use wood release to fight Konoha ninjas is like Senju using Mangekyou Sharingan to fight an Uchiha. That's just ridiculous. The forest seemed to come alive, wielding its thick branches to attack the ninja. Faced with attacks from all sides, the Konoha ninja were at a disadvantage, but soon, for some reason, the forest stopped. Could it be the enemy? With a certain expectation, the Konoha ninjas forged ahead, quickly traversing the forest. They could see signs of a fight all around them, and a golden figure stood with its back to them. The 4th Hokage, the enemy. Minato turned around, the Nine-Tails chakra cloak he was wearing disappeared, and he said in a deep voice, "Obito escaped. I couldn't stop him. Kamui's abilities are too overpowered. He's determined to escape, and even Minato, who possesses the Flying Thunder God technique, can't stop him." The Konoha ninjas sensed something was wrong. They had witnessed Obito's strength firsthand. If even the 4th Hokage couldn't defeat Obito, then who would be able to deal with him in the future? Minato said, "Gentlemen, my time is almost up." The Konoha ninja were taken aback, then bowed in unison and said, "4th Hokage, is there anything you wish to tell us? Kakashi solemnly said, Sensei, I will take good care of Naruto. The third Hokage looked ashamed. I'm sorry, Minato, I have failed your trust. Minato said tactfully, I believe the third Hokage has his own considerations and would not intentionally harm Naruto. However, I hope the third Hokage can be more fair and not break the hearts of the many ninjas who sacrificed for Konoha, especially. Not break Naruto's heart. The last sentence is a reminder. Naruto, who possesses the Rinnegan and becomes a perfect Jinchuriki, will one day become the strongest ninja in the world. However, Naruto felt no sense of belonging to Konoha and even harbored some bold ideas. This troubled Minato greatly, but both sides were equally dear to him, and the thought of the two sides possibly fighting in the future made him extremely worried. Unfortunately, he was already dead, and there wasn't much he could do. Also, because of his promise to Naruto, he couldn't expose Naruto's secret. The only thing they could do was subtly suggest that Konoha work on building a relationship with Naruto and bring him back to Konoha. However, if they really can't be brought back, then let Naruto handle it himself. Having talked about Naruto, let's move on to Obito. Obito, who committed heinous crimes. Konoha definitely needs to capture him, but how to capture him is the problem. This is a problem that the third generation needs to worry about. Minato, being a dead man, can't handle it. He simply handed over the information he had gathered from the battle to the third Hokage, then comforted Kakashi for a while before quickly logging off. Kakashi, supporting the unconscious Naruto, turned to look at the third Hokage. Go ahead, take him to the hospital for a checkup first. With permission, Kakashi carried Naruto and rushed to the hospital. Aye. Within the sealed space, Minato's body emitted a bright light and gradually became transparent. He used up all his chakra and was about to dissipate. Naruto complained, I told you to let me go. I guaranteed to take down Obito Uchiha, but you insisted on being a hero, saying that only you could defeat him. Now he's gotten away, and you're almost done for yourself. Minato could only manage a wry smile. Given the circumstances, how could he let Naruto go? If Naruto went, he would have to use the Rinnegan, and if Konoha found out, Naruto would defect. This was something he desperately wanted to avoid, so of course he had to go himself. Moreover, he genuinely felt he had a greater chance of succeeding in killing the enemy, and wanted to take this opportunity to eliminate any future threat to his son. Who would have thought? Don't talk to your father like that. Kushina grabbed Naruto's ear and taught him to respect his father. Then, looking at Minato, she said reluctantly, Minato, go in peace. I will take good care of Naruto. I'm leaving everything to you, Kushina. Minato smiled and looked at Kushina with love and reluctance in his eyes. The couple chatted for a few minutes before turning their attention to Naruto. Minato stepped forward and hugged Naruto, saying, Naruto, now that Daddy's gone, you must listen to Mommy. In the future, when you encounter painful or difficult things, remember to stay strong, have your own dreams, persevere in pursuing them, and don't give up easily. Don't be extreme in your actions and words. Everything has two sides. Accept the good and change the bad. I also wanted to remind you of many things to pay attention to, but I don't have time now, so I'll have to leave it to Mommy. Finally, I want to say that I love you very much. Naruto felt a lump in his throat and turned to look at Kurama, who was watching them. Nine Lama, do you have a solution? Kurama understood what Naruto meant and shook his head. I'm sorry, Naruto. I can replenish someone's chakra, but if there isn't even a person, I can't create one out of thin air. Naruto turned around, looked at his father who was about to disappear, took a deep breath and said earnestly, Dad, rest in peace. I will come back to revive you in a few years. Resurrection. Minato, who was ready to leave in peace, was suddenly shocked. Chapter 49 discusses Naruto. Please don't do anything reckless. Birth, aging, sickness, and death are the natural laws of the world. Forcibly breaking them will result in punishment from the underworld. I don't need to be resurrected. I only hope that you can live a happy life. It's all right. I have the Rinnegan. It's very simple. Seeing that Minato was about to object, Naruto said, "If Dad doesn't want to be resurrected, then I won't force him. I'll resurrect Mom alone." Then, Mom is so young and beautiful. What do you think will happen, Dad? You actually want to find a stepfather. Minato's eyes widened, and for the first time, he felt an urge to beat his son up. Kushina had already made her move, punching Naruto on the head and yelling, "What do you take me for? I will never betray Minato." Still not satisfied, Kushina punched Naruto a few more times and said to Minato, "If you're willing to die with me, then I'll die with you. If Naruto only revives me, then I will never live alone." Naruto quickly explained, "I was just joking. I will definitely revive both Mom and Dad. There's no order of arrival. The whole family will be together." This time, Minato didn't refuse. He held Kushina and Naruto tightly without saying a word. Before long, Minato's body turned into specks of light and entered Naruto's body. This is Dad's cultivation memories. Shadow clone technique, Rasengan, Shuriken shadow clone technique, 4-symbol seal, 8 trigram seal. And the flying thunder god technique that Naruto desires most. In the Hokage building, the Konoha F4 were discussing how to handle what happened last night. Mitokado Hamura raised his eyes and sighed. "I never imagined that the mastermind behind the Nine Tails rampage was actually Uchiha Obito. But he was only 14 years old at the time, wasn't he? It's hard to believe that a mere 14-year-old boy could cripple Konoha, causing the loss of a Hokage and a Jinchuriki. HMPH, Uchiha. The Uchiha are the kind of people who would even poison their own teacher. Tobirama-sensei's advice was right after all. It's good that we wiped out the Uchiha." Koharu Utatane couldn't hide her relief, and the other three didn't object. Danzo even wanted to give a loud thumbs up. "I, Danzo Shimura, inherited Tobirama's will, so I should become Hokage." "You're right, aren't you, Hiruzen? I remember that it was Hiruzen who made the 4th Hokage take in Obito Uchiha. If it weren't for that, the 4th Hokage probably wouldn't have been killed by Obito Uchiha." Looking at the 3rd Hokage, Danzo said with deep remorse, "So, in the end, the 4th Hokage was actually killed by you. Hiruzen, you bear the main responsibility." Mito and the 2 advisors, Utatane and Mito, were speechless. "You're trying to shift the blame. You must be desperate to become Hokage." The 3rd Hokage, smoking a cigarette, remained silent for a moment before saying, "I admit I bear some responsibility. I misjudged Obito Uchiha, placing my hopes for reconciliation between the village and the Uchiha clan on him. But I never expected him to be so insane." Upon hearing the 3rd Hokage admit his mistake, Danzo became even more emboldened, intensifying his condemnation and portraying the 3rd Hokage as utterly wicked, deeming it unacceptable for him not to resign in order to atone for his sins against the entire village. But the 2 advisors couldn't stand it anymore. "Enough, Danzo, stop talking. No matter what you say, we won't support you becoming Hokage. Now, let's get down to business. The first important matter is dealing with Obito Uchiha. Remove the Sharing and Heroes title, erase his name from the memorial tablet, issue an S-rank rogue ninja wanted notice, and dispatch a special rogue ninja hunting unit to search for his whereabouts. The second important matter is dealing with Naruto. Danzo, who had been silent with a gloomy face since earlier, finally spoke. Given Obito Uchiha's covetousness towards the Jinchuriki, the existing protective measures are no longer sufficient to safeguard their safety. Therefore, we must adopt more forceful measures. I suggest that the Jinchuriki be expelled from the academy and placed under the direct control of Root, where I will provide specialized training. In short, it's just the same old story again. Hiruzen, I think Danzo's idea is quite good. Why don't we do it his way? Koharu Utatane and Inoki Maito both expressed their agreement. No need to say anything more. I will send the Ambu to increase Naruto's protection. You don't need to worry about that. Unsurprisingly, the third generation refused once again. The two advisors frowned, but ultimately said nothing. Danzo shouted resentfully, Hiruzen, you'll regret this. Danzo, I am the Hokage. The familiar dialogue unfolded once again, but the third generation didn't take it to heart at all. Afterward, the four chatted about other things for a while, when the third Hokage suddenly said, I plan to reveal Naruto's true parentage. The other three were taken aback for a moment, then voiced their opposition in unison. Mitokado Hamura said, with the Jinchuriki's terrible reputation in the village, if his background is revealed, it will damage the reputation of the fourth Hokage. Koharu Utatane said, it's not appropriate to announce it now. It would be better to wait until the Jinchuriki graduates, becomes a ninja, and makes great contributions to improve people's impression of him before announcing it. That seems to make some sense. The third generation hesitated. Danzo, who knew the third Hokage best, said, Hiruzen, if you reveal the Jinchuriki's true identity now, how will the villagers view you? I definitely won't praise it. People will think, what were you doing all this time? Why are you only announcing it now? What a treacherous and hypocritical villain. When people think back to Naruto's tragic experiences in the village, the third Hokage's image will become even worse, which will also damage Konoha's image. Wait a minute, this announcement seems like a good thing for me. Danzo realized what was happening and said seriously, I agree with Hiruzen's opinion. This matter should be addressed sooner rather than later. We cannot let the son of a hero suffer any more injustice. Danzo, what's wrong with you? Did you take the wrong medicine? The two advisors looked puzzled, but quickly realized what was going on and looked at the third generation with meaningful eyes. Since Danzo approves, I think you know what to do. The third generation remained silent for a long time before finally letting out a long sigh. Let's wait and see, and announce it when the time is right. Minato, don't blame me. I did this for Konoha. There. The land of rain. Itachi returned to Akatsuki's base alone. His teammate, Juzo Biwa, had died in battle in his hometown, Kirigakure. According to Itachi's report, their squad encountered the fourth Mizukage, Yagura, and his rogue ninja pursuit force while on a mission in Kirigakure. The two had just killed an important figure from Kirigakure, and Juzo Biwa himself was one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist who had defected from Kirigakure. Needless to say, the two sides clashed instantly, like dry wood meeting a raging fire. Although Itachi and Juzo Biwa are strong, the Kirigakure ninja are numerous and powerful, and Yagura is very strong. Chapter 50. Is Chapter 50 really necessary? They quickly found themselves at a disadvantage. Even with their desperate attempts to escape, they were ultimately surrounded by Yagura and his men. The final result was Juzo Biwa used his executioner's blade to catch the tailed beast ball and save Itachi. But he himself was stabbed in the chest and abdomen by the broken executioner's blade and died on the spot. These are minor matters. To Zyro, dying in battle because one is not strong enough is simply deserved. Pain looked at Kakuzu and asked, "Where's Orochimaru? Why haven't I seen him? Did he die in battle too?" Before Kakuzu could answer, Itachi calmly said, "I encountered Orochimaru on the road. He attacked me, but I defeated him with Genjutsu." The Akatsuki members couldn't help but glance at him sideways. It was a bit outrageous that one of the legendary Sannin had been defeated by you using Genjutsu. So, Orochimaru has defected again. Pain's purple Rinnegan flashed with an eerie light. On the surface, Akatsuki members are not allowed to attack each other, but Orochimaru attacked Itachi and has not shown up yet. What else could that be but a defection from Akatsuki? Kakuzu's eyes lit up, and he volunteered, "Boss, are we going to hunt down Orochimaru?" "Let me go. In the black market, Orochimaru's bounty is over 100 million. Scorpion said, "Then add me to the list." Pain did not refuse, and the team tasked with hunting down Orochimaru was thus decided. "Zetsu, do you have any information about the golden Rinnegan?" Pain glanced at the man with the toothed face. Zetsu shook his head and said, "No, I suspect that Orochimaru may have released false information." This is a lie. Ever since learning that a second pair of Rinnegan might exist in the ninja world, Zetsu has gone mad, using all his spies throughout the ninja world to gather all sorts of information. It was finally confirmed that a pair of Rinnegan were indeed hidden in the ninja world. It's unclear who has it exactly, but the woman Orochimaru mentioned has been found. Currently wandering around the land of rice fields, he is being monitored by White Zetsu. Pain was silent for a moment, then said in a deep voice, "Whether it's true or not, you must search diligently until you capture Orochimaru to confirm." "Yes," Zaironan said, "there are many miscellaneous tasks these days, and the organization is short-handed. We need to recruit more people." After saying that, Zaironan handed out a wanted poster to everyone to see. Obito Uchiha, an S-rank rogue ninja, orchestrated the Nine Tails attack and caused the death of the fourth Hokage, leading to the Uchiha clan's annihilation. The more they looked, the more shocked they became. This guy, he's really fierce. Even though everyone here has an impressive track record, they still pale in comparison to Obito. Kakuzu asked, "Leader, are you trying to recruit Obito Uchiha into the organization?" Scorpion said, "I acknowledge that he is qualified to join the organization." Pain said, "No need, he's always been with our organization. You agree, right, Faye?" "Hooligan. What does this have to do with a Faye?" Kakuzu and Sasori were taken aback and turned to look. Itachi stared intently at Tobai with his crimson kaleidoscope eyes, radiating murderous intent. "What is going on with you guys?" "Aye." Outside the Zairoji base, a light drizzle was falling. After the meeting, Itachi waited for Obito to arrive. "Itachi, are you blaming me for deceiving you?" "Call out." In response to Obito, Itachi unleashed a shuriken and attacked him, his hands flashing as he spat out a ball of flame. "The name Madara is just to make things easier for me. I am not Madara, but that doesn't mean I am weak." Obito walked out of the flames unharmed, without even a wrinkle on his clothes. "My strength remains unchanged. Does it matter whether I'm Madara or not?" Looking at the hollow-feed Obito, Itachi sighed inwardly. "What a nuisance." "What you said makes sense." Itachi stopped his attack and said calmly, "But Obito-senpai promised me he would no longer attack Konoha, and now you have broken that promise." Obito immediately said, "Forgive me, Itachi, this is the last time." That's exactly what Itachi said when dealing with his younger brother. Itachi suppressed the subtle emotions in his heart, turned and left, leaving behind the words, You'd better do so. Konoha. After spending 2 days in the hospital undergoing physical examinations and checking the seals to ensure everything was in order, Naruto was finally allowed to be discharged. When I got home, the house had been repaired and there was no trace of the battle. The wood carvings displayed in the shop window are all there too. Looking at the various anime characters in different poses, Naruto rested his chin on the back of his hand, pondered for a long time, and then took out a fu-hua from among them. It's time to find some time to make a second one. Bang, bang, bang. A knock came at the door. Naruto put the wooden carving back in the display case, drew the curtains to cover it, and then turned to open the door. The visitor was the third Hokage. He entered the house, exchanged a few words of concern and greetings, and then handed over a wad of cash on the table, along with a scroll. The money was for living expenses, 2,000 taels, 4 times the original amount. However, Naruto already had plenty of money. The scroll is a ninjutsu, specifically the shadow clone technique, and it was said to be a gift for his discharge from the hospital. However, Naruto had already mastered this ninjutsu. Thank you, Grandpa. Naruto, completely unmoved, offered his sincere gratitude. The third Hokage smiled, took a deep drag of his cigarette, and 2 puffs of white smoke came out of his nostrils. He thought to himself that Minato was too concerned and confused. How could he be heartbroken over such a good kid? Naruto, do you know about your past? Should I know? Naruto thought quickly and nodded. I know. Logically speaking, it would be strange if he didn't know. Aye. You old codger, all you're saying is that you don't want to reveal Naruto's identity. What kind of excuse is that, saying you have your reasons? Bye. Inside the sealed space, Kushina angrily berated the third Hokage. Mom, there's no need to be angry. The third generation is right. It's really inappropriate to reveal our true parentage now, as it would damage Dad's reputation. After dealing with the third Hokage, Naruto's spirit entered the sealed space to comfort Kushina and tell her not to be angry. Bullshit. How does it damage your reputation? If revealing your background will damage your reputation, then you don't need the reputation at all. Kushina habitually grabbed her son's ear, warning him not to have such abnormal thoughts. Naruto nodded repeatedly. You're right, so can I let go now? Kushina released her grip, continuing her furious tirade against the third Hokage from afar, before turning to Naruto and saying, the fault lies entirely with the third Hokage, Naruto. Don't blame the entire Hidden Leaf village, understand? Naruto's lips twitched. Mom, what are you worried about? I'm not that fragile. I won't suddenly decide to take revenge on society. That's good, but if you really want to, then take revenge on those who are in the wrong. Kushina looked like she breathed a sigh of relief. Naruto couldn't help but roll his eyes. You're really worried I'll become Obito. Aye. In the land of fields, Orochimaru emerged from the forest and stood before the cage. Have you stayed in the land of fields all these days just to find me? Is it really necessary for you to be so persistent? We have no grudge against each other. Just because I glanced at you a couple of times, is it really necessary for you to be so relentless?